Hey everyone, Dave here with Affordable Door and Gate. I hope you're doing well. So, Pete and myself have been emailing back and forth, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to bring up this subject because I think it could help somebody out there. He had a receiver on a gate operator that he particularly, I don't think was really liking. It wasn't quite working. So I want to talk a little bit about why I believe in the multi-code, the reason why I still use the multi-code, how it helps with customers, and the programming of it. We're going to get into it in this video, so stay tuned. So a couple things to remember with these multi-codes, which they changed over the years, right, is they actually got it's a 300. This is a 300. So when you order this, make sure you pay attention. This is 300 or they got a 310, and that's the frequency. So this one's only a 300. So like this remote right here, it says on the back of it, which you might be able to see, but it actually says 300 on it. So you need 300 and we need the receiver, obviously the guts and everything, to be 300 to match. So what I typically do is I get the receiver actually that has the 300 or it has the 310. And the reason I do that is because it's just nice to have something that's universal. And that seems like what they've all gone out to is these new ones. And they'll actually have a little jumper in here that you switch over so it'll work. It's something to do with Stanley to multi-code. It was something that got kind of changed up. I'm not really sure the whole details on it. Another thing is right here. So like for this particular one, this one actually literally had a power, like you'd actually plug it into a 120 outlet, like your house outlet. I cut it off and basically it just needs power, right? Because it has a transformer on it. And so I use this right in the gate operator. So this would be my power, right? And these are nice because these can do AC or DC. Make sure you read the instructions on it. They work pretty much across any gate operator I've ever came across. LiftMaster, Linear, all those guys. Then you just basically have your trigger wires, right? And you can also see it in this picture too. It's got the antenna on it. Now, the antenna is super, super duper important. We're going to talk about that a little bit. So if you want to know what the range is on them, it's normally pretty good. Now, I don't know what it's called, but I've actually had these where these do drift after a while, right? You might get a certain range when you first install it, and then it backs down a little bit, almost like you lose about 25%. But they still work pretty good. Now, the antenna, this is what's important about here. In this picture right here, I got my mouse, is the coax. So what I used to do is I bought a roll of coax, and then I bought my own crimpers and everything to actually make it. And this is obviously like the coax, like your old, like in your old mom's house. That's got how you're splicing off the boxes to get more TVs, in different rooms like you weren't supposed to. But you got to get this cable. What I have found, and I'm going to show you here in a picture. Okay, so here's some things I've learned over the years. So what I've noticed, I'm going to use the mouse here, is that you can see this is actually a gate I installed for a road commission. But we got the fence here, right? And then you see the gate. What I have noticed, this is my opinion, is that fence and that gate turns into a satellite dish. That's how I look at it. So let's just say you mount the antenna, this little antenna, like either you just poke it outside the gate operator, which is kind of the lazy way, which I've done when I was on a greenhorn, or you try to keep it on that side of the gate, right? It's just easier by the gate operator. So actually, I think this one, you can just barely picture it. But what I do typically is I actually put a piece of angle iron, like residential angle iron for your drops on a garage door. And I'll mount it to the cabinet, and then I mount it up. That's why I'm always a big fan of these gate operators having metal cabinets, because I think they're just the accessories. I mean, this one you can barely see. It's got a box on it. I got a box over here for the reflector. This works great. I've had zero callbacks to this thing because I did it right the first time. So you got to get that antenna up. Can you do other ways? Yes. You could try to fish it along this pole and then get it up on the pole. I've done that. It's just that the screws, it's hard to screw into this heavy gauge poles and things like that. And it's hard to get your, what I've noticed is you got to dig down in the ground. When you get by the poles, if you don't leave your concrete 3, 4, 6 inches down, it's just somewhere the weed whacker guy, the lawnmower guy hits it, stuff like that. So I typically just try to broadcast it up. And what I found out is I always think of it as like a balloon. This is just how I do it. Think of it as a balloon, like when you're throwing a balloon at a wall, right, and it splatters. So you need it to catch that wave. So if it's up, it works on both sides, because I've always had really good luck with these receivers on the inside, but I always had problems on the outside until I figured out I got to get it above the fence because it works like a satellite dish. So that's just something to think about. Okay, so we're going to go through this a little bit, and what we'll do is this is programming. So here's the beauty of this, right? I don't want to bore you with this long video. You can see in probably in the bottom it says this one's just how to set your Toyota HomeLink to your garage door opener. And it also talks about the gate in this video. So there's going to be plenty of videos out there. Here's the beauty. Right here. That saves you a ton of service calls, callbacks, and problems down the road. Right here. Right here. What are we looking at? We are looking at dip switches. Why does Dave like dip switches? Because Dave's crazy. No, it's because what it is you can physically look at something. There's the dip switches, right? And you can set it and forget it. So what you can do is you can actually program a remote. I've done that before in my service vehicle for whatever reason, just for an extended time. What I've also done is I've taken pictures of it, right? And so let's say you use something like Doc or like Jobber, right? So use Jobber, let's say. You can take a picture of it. You can document it. You can save it. You can save it in your phone if you're kind of a small operation. And what's going to happen, right? What's going to happen, especially if you have a customer that has a growing base. Maybe they got a daughter. Maybe it's a rental. Maybe it's a community, right? I've had so many problems with the built-in receiver in these gate operators. Not to say they're bad, but I've had problems with them because people call later down the road. Sometimes it's a day, a couple days, weeks, months, years. And what they will do is they'll say, I need another remote. And for a silly little remote, that costs $40 to $50 to $60. And by the time you charge a service call on top of that, which is maybe, I don't know what your service calls are, but some of ours are, basically 120. So 120 plus 60, let's just say, it adds up, right? And people just go, oh, and they just go, I'm going to pay $200 or whatever, for a remote. When this can save you, you can call or you can tell them, text them, whatever. And I did this not too long ago. I had a customer that reached out to me. It's kind of a little bit of pain in the hiney. I thought about it. I meditated about it. And I said, you know what? This is not worth my headache. It's not worth anybody's driving a vehicle out there. It's not worth it. And so I said, you know what? Here, go to Amazon. I said, purchase this. I even took an affiliate link to it, whatever I could, I took a screenshot of it. I sent it to him. And it's all because of this right here, because I had the multi-code. I had the dip switches. I said, open up. I didn't have a picture, right? But I said, open up your back, or I said, open up the front, gentle. And I said, there's a code in there. I said, make it identical. And I said, this way. And of course, mind you, this is 6, 7 o'clock at night, right? I'm getting this message. And I said, you can buy as many as you want. You can buy as little as you want, because I've been there. Right? I've been there. You buy them, you order them, they want 10. Oh, now we only need 7. You order them, they come in, whatever, you get 10. Now, you know what? We need 20. The list goes on and on. So I said, you know what? Here, go order them online. I said, the code is in there for you. And if they mess that one up, you know what? They could probably go over to the neighbors and get theirs and possibly get the code off that one. And then if I had to really, really dig about it, I could literally find it probably in my pictures, or it's in Jobber. So that's why I love it. Because the problem is, if you use the ones that are built in, where they actually have to go in and push a learn button, in my experience, they have to open up a gate cabinet. So they have to find a key. That's rusty, crusty, or whatever, right? It's got crud in it. They have to go into this thing that's got electrical wires and everything everywhere. That's a problem, right? Because they go in there, they screw something else up, or they erase everything. Where this they can do in their bedroom when they're laying in bed. And they can sit there and program them. They come in through Amazon. That's not my fault. That's not my problem. You sell them one. Maybe yours has been sitting on the shelf for a while. They complain it's not working. It worked for a week, but it quit working because you had one that had a junky battery in it. I've had that happen. So here's kind of a clip. Let's go through this.
For direction. During programming, you should move the vehicle a sufficient distance away from your garage door opener to prevent unintentional operation during programming. Then hold the transmitter for the device from 25 to 75 millimeters away from the...
Right here, they're showing you. So this is, you guys tell me if there's certain vehicles out there you can't do it or you tried it, because I know some of you are definitely smarter at it than I am. But here's the thing. That right there, right? We know that right there is a universal remote that has dip switches in it, and it can be programmed digitally, right? It's a universal. I've done it before where you get the dip switches in there and then you program it to whatever you got to do, the home link on this car. So what I'm getting at is that typically, I haven't found one yet. I'm not saying they aren't eliminating these because these are getting to be old school. These, you can program them. So it's just, you got to have the remote, you got to program it to the car. And like I said, if it doesn't work, I'm tell the customers, sorry, you're going to have this remote, put it in your glove box, put it in your armrest, put it on your visor. I'm sorry. This is just how it works. You know what I mean? This is what was meant for it. This is like TV still come with remotes. You know, you're just going to have to use the remote. I'm sorry you can't use your smartphone. And honestly, I've had better luck with these. These work better anyways. So I just wanted to kind of show this, that this is programming it. So don't be afraid.
Surface of the home link controls. Keep the indicator light on the home link in view while programming. While holding the transmitter in that position, press and hold the selected home link button.
All right.
Repeatedly.
So to kind of sum this up, just remember, kids, don't drink and drive. This was a gate operator I worked on a long time ago. The truck driver took the corner a little sharp there, whacked it. But like I said, these good old HSLGs, Oscos, Laniers, man, I tell you, they're just workhorses. Just straighten her back out and away it goes. So in summary, the receivers don't get screwed up. Like I said, remember when you order these to get the 310 and the 300, right? It's going to have that little jumper in there. Don't forget that. That can screw you up sometimes because you'll have the remote and you're sitting there and you're like, why is this not working? You know what I mean? You get your dip switches right. The dip switches can be a little tricky too. So make sure you have some time. Take your time. The multi-code, the range is normal. I don't have no problem with the range. A lot of times it comes with the antenna. The antenna is the big thing. Now, I had a technician one time that actually got screwed up. And I want to show you this because this can happen if you don't pay attention. And it's when you're dealing with the coax. You're not going to really see that good, but see this? There's a screwy part right here. Let me get this down for you. Right here. Right here is a screwy part. There's like the nipple that sticks out, right? That is super important that if you put this into a union, let's say, right, that makes contact. I've had it where on the coax, it's gotten shoved, or when you mended it, you didn't have a long enough like nipple on there, right? And that nipple doesn't make contact, and it doesn't work. We've had it happen. We ran the wire outside of the fence line, and we're like, why is this thing not working? You know, the range on this is really horrible. So make sure you pay attention to that coax. Just take your time, make sure everything's done properly, get everything screwed tight, and you should be good. Like I said, the multi-code has saved me probably hundreds of service calls. Like I said, any gate operator we deal with, even if it has a built-in radio, I don't even care. I put it in the multi-code because I know in the future it's going to be a problem. And so if it's just got the multi-code, it's built in. There's no delay to it. It's fire, man. It's like pulling the trigger, pow. And that's what I love about them. There's no delay. There's no glitchiness. It's just they work. If people need more, not a problem. We could easily get them. We don't have to reprogram, which is another problem I've had in communities. You have to get all the remotes back. And then sometimes these things only program up to maybe like 40 remotes onto that logic board or whatever it is. So with this, I can do hundreds, baby, hundreds. So the multi-code is just, I can't tell you how many times it saved my butt. And to me, for the extra, you got $60, into the receiver, $80, whatever it is, it's worth the money because my time is worth so much. So I hope that helps you out. Like I said, I kind of skimmed over some stuff here. I might have forgot something. Put it in the comment below. Let me know what you guys think about it. And if there's something better that maybe I need to look into, let me know. Like I said, I might take a glance at it, but this is pretty hard to beat. It's old technology, but it just works. And that's what I like about it. And it doesn't hardly ever fail. They're workhorses. So, all right, guys, hope you have a good one. Thanks for watching. If you don't mind on the way out, hit the like button. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for being here, and have a good evening, morning, night, universe. Just have a good one. We'll see you. Bye.